Okay, the next part is a quick demo. And again, believe me, it's a huge solution. So we cannot do everything. So let me share the screen again and find the right one. If I haven't said it yet, this is not, right now, it's not an individual software. So it's not like just one person. I mean, you can use it as a person on your own. But remember, SUCAD and Uruk effort and focus is on enterprise, or actually, I should say organizational, right? So the idea is that every project will have different things. So before I can discuss, I skipped the registration part and the login part. Those are, very quite simplistic. So once you are a user and you access the system, right now you will see something like this. This will be changing soon because we are already updating this. Before I get going into this, let me explain something very important. In the system, we will have three types of users. I mean, when the license is the same and the pricing will be the same, but there will be three different users. There will be an admin user, and ideally in an organization, in a client organization, there will be one admin, but if the organization is quite large, they might have division admins. So we have admin license, admin user, system user as an admin for the client. We will have a user, which is anyone who needs to have access to the system. And we have some user, we give them the designation of a senior manager, because these are the people who can activate the project out of the parking lot. Now, on a project, at this time, the project role, we have three different roles. We have a project sponsor role, we have the project manager role, or project lead, and we have a team member. Again, down the road, we will have different, more roles as we split some of these roles further. And then for management right now, what we are planning to give them is a free view-only license, right? So if a manager only wants to just take a look at the system, we will give them a view-only licenses. We will not, they don't need to enter data or use the project. They don't have to pay for that license. So you log into Uruk and you will see this. Obviously, managing the portfolio and governance, which we don't show here, will be in the future. So we have the managing a project, we have administrative, we have community or practice. On the left side, we have also the quick menu, is more like shortcuts. And you can see the administrative. Obviously, I can click on the main screen, or I can go to the left, the same thing with community or practice. One thing you see on the left that you don't see on the main screen is other action. Now, one of them, task management. Task management actually is inside managing a project. But we expect that most users will be going always going to task management. So we felt like this is probably one of the most used module. So we actually gave another shortcut over here. And then we have project, where you can see all the project and report. So if I click on project, right now, in the system I'm using, we have created 4 projects. And in general, what you see here is that a small card that says the project manager name, the project sponsor name, the status of the project is active, right? And I will create one and I will show you how that would look different. And then if I click on the team of any project, I see who's been assigned to the project. Now, if I go to managing a project, let me go back to Uruk Home. So I want to manage a project. The first thing I must do is start a project, right? This is the project setup we talked about in the presentation part. And here we have a form, and we use asterisk for the required information. And this is a simple form. I'm sorry, I'm repeating myself a lot. All of this is being changed, changed in a way, it's enhanced. We are adding more field, right? But right now, that it's what the main strategy we followed is we want to get PLC management as an initial product out in the market, as an initial product, so organization can start using it, and then we continue to enhance and improve and add functionalities. Right? This is the way most software startup work. So what is information? Now, a sponsor, a manager, a division manager could ask one of the team members, go ahead onto Uruk and start a new project for us. But that user might not have a lot of information. So all we need at this time is that the project title, so let's say is November 6 project demo, right? Ideally, I like to know who's the idea generator, who is coming up with the idea, or who's the owner of the idea. And this could be a person or could be a division. So let's say Sukat Tech. I can add an organizational unit. I can add a subsidiary unit. So basically, if you work in a big company and you have a big division, so you can put the division here, and then a department, and maybe a small unit. So you can have up to 3 levels of organizational unit. This is supposed to be organizational level, or you can leave it blank. Right now, I don't have to put any of this stuff. It's not required data. The project manager is not required data, but the project sponsor notice is required data. And I have to select someone who is authorized, who have the senior manager authorization that can activate project. So we have to put the project sponsor. There is an asterisk here. And the only other information that is required here is that basically who is the person requesting the project setup. This could be the same as the idea generator, obviously, but here we're looking for a person. It could be name, or it could be director, or whatever the case. And notice here we ask a question like, is the project part of a program? Yes or no, or not sure. If it's part of a program, the program name. Is it part of generated from strategic plan? Yes or no. Is the program generated from strategic plan? Yes or no. So this is the type of information we have to enter. We can put the target completion date. We can obviously forecast and plan. We can also put them, but I think in the upcoming enhancement, we will be blocking these because they will not be, we should not be able to enter them at this time. So let's say I'm happy, right? I can say submit. And that project now is in the system. So if I go to projects on the left menu, notice now we see the November 6 project demo. And notice what we have here right now. It doesn't show project manager because we don't have a project manager yet. It shows created by and the name of the person. It was created on actually showing 5 November because I'm still in 5 November. And notice shows here the status is pending activation. That means I cannot, the only thing I can do right now is I can go back and edit, but I cannot do anything more. And of course, there is tailored method selection for later. So now the project, let me stop sharing for a second. Then I go to another browser. Now on this browser, what I'm sharing now, I'm logged in as a sponsor. Right? And notice the sponsor now have notification. So if I click on view all notifications, so to save it time, and you will notice that now we have November 6 project demo was submitted for review and you are assigned as a project sponsor. Now, all these notifications will also come through email, and we already have a suggestion that maybe we should do SMS. So we will be giving, when you log into the system down the road, you will have the choice of requiring the notification to come via email or SMS or both or none. You just use the notification here. So as a sponsor, I can go and click on detail and will show me the information and I can edit now. Now notice the project manager now it become required. So I cannot activate the project until I name a project manager. And as a sponsor, I can add other information here. I can go put the target completion date. Said, look, I want this project to be finished by January 3, right? And I can go back and put organizational unit. I can do whatever. I mean, whatever information here that is editable, I can go and edit it. But let's say I'm happy, and then I have a choice to make. Are we ready to proceed? If we're not ready to proceed, I can say hold, and that project will stay in the parking lot until I come back to it someday in the future and decide to activate it. So let's say today we want to activate. So I activate the project. And it should say success. Now I'm going to go back to the project manager screen. Now if I refresh the screen, notice in the top here, I have received notification. I don't want to go there. You've seen it already. You've seen how the notification works. But if you notice here on the November 6th demo, now we have the status active, we have a sponsor name, and we have a project manager name, right? Because that project now has been active. And I still have the team, and I still have tailored method here. That means I haven't selected a tailored method yet. So let's go and select a tailored method. Now, as I mentioned earlier, unfortunately, we only have one tailored method right now, so you have no choice but to select what exists. Down the road, we will be adding tailored method here. Of course, we will be adding some more text. And right now, we did not put a lot of text explaining what this tailored method does. We will be adding text to explain every tailored method to help in the selection. And in the future, when we have many selection, then we will be a selection criteria and a questionnaire that the user can use to select the tailored method. So I will select the tailored method. And now goes to, remember project setup, there are 4 steps. Now it goes to step number 4. And here it asks me, do I want to download, in this case, the MS project, the MPP template now? If I don't have it downloaded yet, I can download it, or I can say skip. So right now, I'm going to skip it. So now we have a project, and the project is set up in the system. And then I can go and start working on it. So I'm going to go to the working the project stages. And what you will notice when you go to this section is that you see the life cycle. This is a standard life cycle that is shown here. Of course, if the different tailored method have a different life cycle, it will show here as well. And what you see here, that gate 0, which is the activation gate, has been already activated. So this is dark blue. And we have an orange line here. That means we are in the concept stage. If you go down below, you will notice that we are in the concept stage, and everything else is gray. That means I cannot access it, right? I don't, because the idea of a stage gate process, which is what Uruk is built on, is that you have to take it stage by stage. Unless, of course, later on, for example, we have the implementation stage and the operation readiness stage are happening in parallel. Right, so they will be shown. They will be once we activate gate 5, both of these stages will be open together. And of course, we can make the same thing as elsewhere. But right now, there are some governance and control in place. So let's say this is typical for all stages. I go into the concept stage, and I will be able to see this. I can plan the stage. I can implement the stage, which means develop the stage deliverable. I can manage and control the stage, which is mean I can go very simple right now. And I can close the stage when it's done. But notice to close the stage is not allowed yet because we haven't done it. We haven't done the work. I can access the X3 area. Now, once I implement the stage work, the closed stage will open. So there is some control in that aspect. Now, plan the stage right now, it's quite simple. I'll go here and said, okay, who's assigned? We know now we have the sponsor is assigned, and we have the project manager assigned. And I can go here and say, okay, I need more people. Right now in the user list that I have, I only have one more person. I can say, okay, now this person is also a team member. And notice here, I have team member because I cannot give the person as a role, right? The sponsor role is taken, the project manager role is taken. Now, team member wise, I can have 50 team members, doesn't matter. But sponsor one, project manager one. And I can say, I need to check and assign. Now, remember before, we gave you a choice to download the schedule and I chose to skip it. Here, I have that choice again. I can download the schedule again, the template, and go and modify it. Or I have already downloaded it, I can import it. So I have downloaded it already before. So let me just show you what that does. And I mean, the idea behind the cost saving and the time saving. So let me now, I will choose this template and open it. It might take a minute because of internet. Big file as well. What you will see right now, here we go. Technically, if I scroll down here, there are about maybe 200 activities that we have built into the schedule template. But the way we've done it, because right now, remember, we are in the concept stage. That's why I use abbreviation CS here to make it easy to find the data. We plan the stage, we are planning the stage, or we are developing the project brief. So one thing we can do, we click here. If we click on the orange, it will download all the rows, activities on MS project that come with it, right? So here we have all of these. I can download this as well. I can download this. But right now, just to make it easy, not to clutter the system, in order to focus, let me not download these. Okay. And I say complete. If you notice the red line there, that basically saying because those dates are out of date, right? Because I have not updated the schedule. That means when you download the schedule, you should update it to your project information data and schedule. Otherwise, it will flag it for you. So manage project tasks. I can go here and I can see the task that I have downloaded from MS project. So now I have the task here. I don't have to enter them again. And I can see the list in calendar view. I can see it on the calendar. Now, because the stuff is in October, so I'll go back to October. I can see it on the Kanban view, right? Or I can see the list view. And let me edit one only. And then, so basically as a task, you can see it and you can edit it. Now they have, this is work package number 1, which is in the project brief called the project description. It's in the concept stage. It's a planning right now. I'm gonna assign it the project manager. The start date, let's say it is going to be 6 November. And it's going to end on 9 November. I can add description here, and then I can add team members. So I am basically, we have the task leader is Simpson, and we can add Kido as another team member on this task. So now these 2 people have access to this task. No one else can do the work that we will be discussing later. I mean in a second. And we can do this for all of these downloadable, all of these tasks that we downloaded, we just can go in and update that information. And you can see it on the right that I have users. And then of course, we have actual information, which we don't have yet. So once we build those tasks in there, now I have the task built in, I can, and I plan my stage. Now I go back here and I can say, I'm ready to implement the stage. And what you will see here, you will see the template. This is one of the document I mentioned, right? The project brief template in CAMP have these 4 boxes. Description of the product or the output, justification for the project and the business case. Is this project aligned to organization strategic plan, yes or no? And if it's aligned, how does it align? And I need to link it to tasks. So every one of these boxes, I link to a task. Now, I'm not going to do all of that. I'll just do the same one to make it easy. And now I can say, save draft. All right, so now we have the project brief set up. And of course, based on who's assigned to these tasks, we know who needs to do the work. And when I'm ready, of course, I can add blocks. Let's say in my case, I want to add some more information. This is not enough for me. I want to add another block. I can come in and add another block. And I can decide the structure of the block. Or I can attach a document. Let's say you've done this work outside and you just want to upload it. But we recommend entering data here because otherwise it doesn't go into the database. If you just upload document like PDF, it's not going to go into the database. So ideally, we want to be able to read it. And let's say now we are done and we start to work on it. So we enter data. And when we are done, notice the people who can enter data here are only those authorized team members that have access to this. Now, team member will see everything, but only the one who are assigned to the specific task can enter the data. In this case, I'm the project manager, so obviously I can override and enter all the data. Now, even if a team member doesn't have access to one of these blocks, they can always comment. So they can enter comment here. Let's say, I don't know why it erased it because I didn't save it, I guess. Save draft. So let's say now as a project manager, actually, I'm happy. My team did their work and now I can review it and say, I'm fine. I want to submit it and I can submit it and it goes to the sponsor. So if I go back to the sponsor right now, I will see that this information, actually, I can show it to you here. You will see that the concept stage project brief have been submitted. And right now we are at stage gate right now. One, that means we are waiting for the sponsor to approve. I don't want all the stages are similar, except the deliverable is different. I just want to show you a few more areas. Supporting function right now, there will be 8 more added quickly soon. So in the cost area right now, just some basic information, nothing fancy. Notice there's only limited information here. Now, because we are still in the concept stage, once we go into the feasibility stage, another box will open up here. Said, okay, now because in the feasibility stage, we do the first estimate. So the system is quite dynamic. Depending on where you are in the life cycle, these templates that you see in front of you, there will be more information added to them. The cost, for example, and the schedule, they will open in the feasibility stage. And then when we go later, they will have like class 2 estimate and the class 3 estimate will open in the right time. The same thing for performance metrics. Also reports. I'm going to show you reports. And right now, as you can see here, there is no report. I can create a report. And notice on the left are still gray that we have not activated them yet. but I can do a project status report or a stage status report. And here, as you noticed, there isn't much information yet. We don't have performance data, obviously, but at least we will be able to see the project information. We will be able to see the relevant data. We will be able to see the performance data if there is any. I mean, right now we don't have any yet because we just started the project. We have section to enter text. And of course, as before, I can add information block and I can attach document. And once I'm done, whether I do weekly report or monthly report, I can create, or I can create an email, or I can create an export for future mailing, or to just maybe to store on a document management system outside of Uruk. Again, there is much more to show you, but I want to keep the time, and we are already close to on the 1 hour. So let me stop here and allow questions. Yeah, Luke, go ahead. Unmute and go.
Yeah, hi, Munir. I put it in the chat as well. The task view screen, you scroll through a number of views, but does it show the Gantt chart as well, or the critical path network, so that to have a view of the critical path?
That is on MS Project. It's not built into Uruk.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because the idea is that you are still using P6 or MS Project to do the schedule. So what it shows is that the downloaded task for your stage only, because remember, right now we're dealing with managing stage by stage.
Yeah.
Right. When we do the feasibility study and we do estimate 1, and we can do it in MS Project, and let's say we develop schedule, the high-level schedule was the first estimate, we can upload it as an image or we can upload it as a file. But it doesn't show inside Uruk. That's the idea where we need full synchronization, and we don't have that yet.
Okay, thank you. See, there's another question in the chat.
Can you monitor the milestone using Uruk? I mean, yes, obviously milestone is related to scheduling. So all the schedule information will be on the schedule. You can put the milestone in Uruk, but remember, Uruk is not a scheduling tool. Uruk is a management tool that manages the project start to end and have all the deliverable in there. So in order to manage the schedule, we need to have a scheduling tool, especially for large project, for larger project, and same thing for estimating, same thing for some of the other areas. So Uruk is not replacing them. And down the road, the intention is Uruk, we will never, well, I shouldn't say we'll never. The intent is that there are scheduling tools that are very good, like MS Project or Primavera. If we integrate with them, why recreate them? You will be able to see the task, because we are focusing on task on stage by stage. You will be able to see all the tasks that you need within the stage in the system. You will be able to manage them. You will be able to link the schedule data. So basically, we don't intend to recreate a scheduling tool. We could have very basic scheduling, very limited scheduling. If you choose not to use Uruk, if you choose not to use P6 or MS Project, down the road, we could have a basic scheduling tool inside Uruk that will give you at least a Gantt chart. To do critical path analysis, that's now we're starting to get into quite complicated system. The philosophy we're following is that if we can integrate with, if there are good existing tool in the market and we can integrate with it, so we can maintain all project information inside Uruk for document management for the future, no need to recreate it. Now, if there are in some areas, if we don't have a good tools in the market, or maybe what exists in the market is too expensive or too complex, we could be doing some simplified version inside the platform. But that will be, that will be decided on a case by case as we start to collect feedback from our client. Any other question in the demo, or anybody want to raise question? Yeah, communication modules. Basically, again, this is one of the functions, right? And the PMBOK guide and ISO. So the initial version that not ready today, that will be ready in a few weeks, the updated version, we will include a communication module, but that will be very basic communication module. It doesn't include, again, all the functions are very basic in the beginning, and later on that could become a huge. In communication, for example, it can be very simple on small project, but in construction, it can be huge because we use document control indices and other stuff. So right now, the communication is that it's a very simple process. I cannot show it to you because it's not built in yet. Will include the text boxes, like you saw, some of the boxes you've seen, about how often and what type of communication we're going to have with management. That one section. Another section, how often and what type of format in communication we're going to have with the stakeholder. And another one is what how we're going to communicate with team members, and the style of communication, frequency of meeting, and the reports. Again, these are the initial product. And as we go forward, we will be adding lots more based on need and based on, of course, our plan right now includes a lot of other additional work. There's no more question in the chat to my knowledge. If there's any other question, you can add them in the chat, or you can just get the mic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nuzran, you go.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. So my question is, does the Uruk platform can have a calculations module that maybe same like Primavera does, to calculate any resources or to simulate any scenarios on the how to run the project, because of sometimes then in the middle of the project we have to run some scenarios to see that where the project will ending, or how the resource can be.
Schedule
Yes,
management, as we mentioned before, schedule management right now, it has to be done outside of Uruk. It will be very expensive and very difficult to recreate a Primavera or MS project. And we know most organizations use one of the two. So if we can integrate with it, no need for us to recreate it. What's important for us to capture the main tasks that we need to enter into Uruk, and then we manage them into Uruk. Remember, we want real time. One of the biggest frustrations that I had in the past is that when we work on capital project or anything like this, that only the planner or the project manager would have access to the scheduling tool. Team member don't. They don't see it. And as a result, they're sometimes they're not fully aware of what work they do or how does it fit on the schedule. They only access the task management. And here, management can actually they can upload the MS project, at least picture or our Primavera, images as graphics or maybe as PDF file for everybody to see regularly. But we are not going to recreate the wheel. I think Desi wanted to say something, but yeah.
Yeah, thank you. And good morning. Sorry, I cannot open my cam.
No problem.
So I was just thinking, you have built in quite a lot of methodology as an approach in the Uruk system.
Yes.
And then when I see the approach is using stage gauge, will it also compatible if we run the project using agile or lean method or approach?
Yeah, but what you have to be careful with is that often when we talk about agile or lean or scrum, we are really talking only about a phase of the project, not the whole project, right? So the stage gate approach worked for the life cycle model. And Agile or Scrum or these things are incremental development, usually existing in the development stage. Or in Uruk is what we call the implementation stage. And that's where you create, obviously, in the stage 5 in Uruk, which we do the detailed plan, you can create a high-level plan, which become like the product backlog. And then when you go into implementation, you will be able to divide the work into increment or sprint or whatever you want to do, the way you want to do it, right? You can still do that in your project management. You can do that. And for this, today, that's not built into, I mean, you can use Uruk for that because you can capture all the information, or the backlog information, the detail information, technically every sprint is like a work package. You can build that into Uruk today, right? But we are not using the terminology. Down the road, there will be a version that will include the Agile terminology in terms of, or Scrum, basically, with sprint and those kind of things for the development. But technically today you can do it because at the end of the day, what is that work? It's tasks, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, you have a backlog, you take functionality, you create the user. I mean, we don't have the terminology that create the user story, and that terminology is not there yet.
Understood. Yeah. So basically you're saying that in Uruk, it has ability to say like convert each of the sprint activities into tasks, right? And treat it as a task to monitor in the Uruk.
We will have to build it. Right now, it's not built in.
I see.
Yeah. I mean, right now you can do it. You can do it as tasks. You can add it as tasks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that exists today. No problem like this, right? But to create that terminology that we say, now we need to create a user story, and then from the user story we'll bring. There is a Kanban board. You can use a Kanban board. Of course.
Oh, there is. Okay.
Yeah. But it's not. I mean, that terminology is not there yet. Yeah. And right now, implementation is for us is one stage. Now, you can do it, whether you want to use the sequential methodology, what people will call waterfall, or you can use Agile or incremental. You can do whatever you want, right? The management of that right now is not inside Uruk.
Right.
The detail of that, the terminology of that.
Yes.
Yeah. But down the road, it will be totally inside.
Thank you.
And you will be able to run burn down chart and whatever the case might be. Luke,
thank you.
No one else is raising their hand.
There are two more questions in the chat.
Oh,
one from
good. You are monitoring the chat for me.
I know from our meetings, it's actually handy if somebody actually monitors the chat while you talk.
Yeah, I should do that. I should have done that.
No, this one is actually one of the questions that I heard before. I don't know whether you know about
the salt something. I saw something here.
Yep.
The salt 5. I haven't heard of that.
Okay.
I haven't heard of that, so I cannot answer that.
It's all right.
Yeah. Would Uruk accommodate? Sorry, go ahead, Novitri. Go ahead.
No, there's another question from Pa Aditya.
Yeah. Then would Uruk accommodate stakeholder information and their priorities? Obviously, yeah, there is a section that we are building in a module for stakeholder management. Again, I have to repeat myself. In the beginning, the first product that is out right now, it will be very simple module that include the key information about stakeholder. Down the road, that could become much more sophisticated. Stakeholder relationship management module. Same thing with cost, same thing with schedule, same thing with quality. In the beginning, there will be just basic functionality so we can maintain all the data in Uruk, and we will be expanded. So stakeholder management is in Uruk. Now, in terms of accommodating their priorities, actually, this is a part of the camp methodology. Part of the camp methodology is that the third stage, which is the requirement stage, we call it requirement stage, but part of it is what we call, there is like a work package. We call it is that explore the stakeholder expectations. And actually stage gate 3, we call it stakeholder alignment gate. So it's not only the gate have number, but they also have name. So the key along the project, the whole project, stakeholder relationship management is very critical to explore it and identify it and collect it, all of that during the requirement stage, right? And then of course, manage it throughout the project. In Uruk, yes, that will be there. Initially, it will be simplified module. Down the road, we will be adding much more features. Did I get all the comment in the notes?
Aditya has a hand up.
Sorry, I would like to ask something. Can you hear my voice? I'm sorry, I can't activate my camera.
Yeah, no, don't worry about cameras. I know sometime. Yeah.
Okay, so if I'm not mistaken, this Uruk is like an enterprise resource planning like SAP. Is that correct or not? That's the first
No.
question. No.
It's not enterprise resource planning like SAP. It's a project management, product development. The best way I can describe it, actually, Uruk, when it's fully done, it will come close to become an ERP, right? But remember, ERP system includes financial management and includes a lot of accounting system. We don't have that. Okay.
Okay, so that's the first.
So we are about governance and portfolio management and program management and project management. And for project management, how to manage project from end to end. SAP have some module related to project management, but it's mostly reporting, financial reporting and stuff like this. As far as I know, SAP or Oracle NetSuite or all of these fancy enterprise tools do not have a lifecycle management. They're not designed. I mean, they say you can use them to manage project, but basically it's there. You will get the financial, you get the accounting data, and you can use them for resource planning, right? But they're not product development methodologies. They don't have that, as far as I know.
Okay, thank you. And the second is, does it shows earned value and risk potential in the platform? How about the percentage of the whole projects? Can Uruk shows something like that?
I missed that point. Shows what percent complete, you mean?
Does it shows earned value and risk potential?
Yeah, I mean, risk management is there. We will have threat management and opportunity management in the system. They will be built in over time. They will be built in right now, basic modules, and they will be built in.
And the percentage of the whole projects.
What do you mean percentage of whole project?
If a person, perhaps the sponsor, wants to know the development of the projects or the percentage of the
progress,
completion,
you mean?
I think is completion.
Progress?
Completion. Yes.
Okay. Maybe this is, forgive me guys, I know we're going over time, but this might require a long discussion. I will keep it very short. One of our objective of Uruk is to change culture. And we think there is a lot of gaps in the culture of project management today. And percent complete, when anybody that give you percent complete for the whole project, they are just giving you misleading information. Now, because I don't know if there is a way you can measure percent complete of the whole project. Now, what you are talking about is sometimes, yes, if we are in implementation, let's say engineering construction, right? If we are within the engineering construction project, and where we have man hours and actual hours, and we can calculate progress. We can calculate the progress of construction, and we can calculate the progress of engineering. We can calculate the progress of any stage of the project. So I can tell you where we are, but to give a percent complete for the whole project, that often enough that just misleading information and just somebody playing with numbers. For that, we need to, we know we can give a percent complete for a stage, and we can actually look at the schedule and give potential completion based on the schedule, right? But to say the project overall from idea all the way to closure is 55% complete, I don't know if there is a scientific way of doing that. I don't know if my question is clear, because it's hard, because there are too many variables going on, too many players are involved. Again, I'm talking about life cycle methodology. Now, within every stage, that shouldn't be a big deal. Yes, you will get a progress complete information calculated outside of Uruk, but you can show it in Uruk.
Okay, thank you. Perhaps it will take more time to elaborate about the percentage of all projects.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's a big topic. That's a big topic. You know, often enough, people said, you know, they like to see, management like to see a number, and we end up wasting so much time. Oh, it's a project behind schedule or ahead of schedule based on number that often enough they're not really meaningful, except again within a stage. What type of project you work on, Aditya?
I'm in oil and gas.
Yeah, so if you are in oil and gas, right? Now think about it from inception all the way to closure, including the front end. While you are in the front end, you can probably calculate progress because you probably have man hours or you know, work hours for the stage. When you go into engineering, you can calculate engineering progress. And when you go into construction, you can calculate construction progress. But some people play game is that they combine, they come back with, you know, we're going to allocate 10% to engineering and maybe 60% to construction and come up with a weighted average. But I think that's not, often enough might not be very healthy. But I would love to have a discussion on this separately.
Okay, thank you.
All right, if there is no more question, in the future, the plan is we will do more webinar like this, but we will be, because, you know, the platform is quite large, so we will be able to zoom in a specific area. So maybe one time we will we do a quick demo for the communication and stakeholder management and team management, or we do one on the other areas. As we progress and we have more content, we'll be happy to share. For the time being, again, this is work in progress. Again, any last minute question? Okay, we are thankful to all of you for taking time, and especially we went over time. We appreciate you and have a great time.
Thank you, Munir, and good night to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.